I want to show you how I am using the Jeny surprisingly stretchy bind off, knitted from the wrong side, to create a stretchy bind off which looks a bit like an I-cord. I-cord bind off is not stretchy at all, unless you do it very, very loosely, and it doesn't really look that nice. But Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off is stretchy, so it's a good option for say for your sleeves, where you might sometimes want to push your sleeves up and you need the stretch. So this is how it looks on the right side if you do it the normal way. So you get these little notch looking little bits, but on the wrong side, which is this side, it actually looks like almost like an I-cord. It's a bit more square, not as round as the I-cord, but you get the similar effect, and it's very neat. So if you are knitting in the round, you of course have to change the direction of your knitting when you start doing this. Here I have my other sleeve. I am on my final round of the ribbing, and on the next round I will have to start my bind off. This is my beginning of row marker. So I will knit to the marker. And I can now remove the marker. So this is the place where I need to turn my work. But before I do that, I will do a wrap and turn for the next stitch. So I will just slip this stitch without knitting it. I will bring my working yarn to the front between the two stitches. I will return the stitch back to the left needle, and then I will turn my work. So I now have the yarn coming between the two stitches on my right hand needle, and the yarn is at the back of the work. And now I will start doing Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. So I knit one stitch, and then I will do a yarn over and bring the yarn from back to the front across the needle. So it's not your normal yarn over, but it's done backwards. And then I knit the next stitch, and I pull the yarn over and the previous stitch over the last knitted stitch. And from now on, I will be doing the backwards yarn over, knit one, and pulling these two stitches or the loops over the last knitted stitch. And you don't really have to do this very loosely because the extra stretchiness comes from the yarn over that you do backwards. And this is how I keep on working until I'm back here where I started. And I have my last stitch here on my left hand needle, and I will do the final yarn over, knit the last stitch and pull these 2 stitches across the last knitted stitch. And now I can just cut my yarn. So here we have bind off. This is the right side, and on the inside, on the wrong side, it looks like that. Now the final thing to do is to weave in your end and at the same time attach these last stitches to these first stitches so that the chain of stitches is continuous. I have my darning needle or my tapestry needle here, and I am going to go into this first loop. The other leg of the loop is hiding a little bit behind here. So I will try to go and find it, go underneath both of these legs of the first stitch. And then I will go back to this last stitch where the end of the yarn comes from. So into the same loop. And then you can pull it a little bit tighter so that it's about the same size as all the other stitches here. You don't want to pull it too tight because then it's visible again, but you want it the same size as the rest of them. There. And now we need to go back to the other side. So I think I want to go across this bump here and into this stitch at first. And then I will go to the other side of the work from here. And I will weave in the end. I usually go all the way to the beginning of the rib. And then I want to stretch it a little bit so that it doesn't pull the rib or the edge. And then I will go back a few stitches, but not all the way to the top. And again, I don't want to pull it too tight. And then I just cut the yarn. And here we have the almost I-cord looking stretchy bind off.